Hello, hello, and today I will be playing a very much requested ship, the Udaloi, or in general Russian destroyers. People know I quite like these Russian destroyers, and with the recent fire nerf, or well, recent, people have been quite desperate over how to advance with these. I've seen people selling them and basically giving up on them completely. So I'll be making a commentary on the Udaloi, the T9 Russian destroyer. Also, I'll start it off mentioning now so many people have been requesting me to start streaming. So I've been spending the last couple of days setting up my stream and testing it out, and it seems to work quite fine. And I'll add the link in the description if you sometime want to watch me play. I'm not certain what kind of stream. I'll probably be pretty much basic teaching people to play and such. So if you want to see more, well, you can follow me on Twitch. I'll give you the link. Anyway, jumping on to the actual commentary, the Udaloi feels like a step back to the Kiev in a positive way, whereas the Tashkent felt very long, big and clumsy. The Udaloi actually feels very sleek and fast and in general more maneuverable than the clumsy Tashkent. Now, when people ask me, or well, people have been asking like, how do you make this ship work? Well, there's actually a bit of a secret to it. Or well, not secret, but something you have to step away from the usual HE spam. You saw that I highlighted the damage there. HE does 1.6k, whereas AP does 2.6k. Now the AP shells on the Udaloi are truly something scary. These guns, they might only be 100 and I switched to AP for the Mayoko, but the cap stopped. You always keep an eye on the cap, because the cap stopped, I know there's a DD here, so I pinged the location on the map. And our carrier, Essex, who was luckily paying attention, he straight away sent a plane there to spot him. So good play by our Essex to instantly react to my ping, and because of that the Fubuki had to smoke and run away. And because he smoked and ran away, I also smoked, and now I switched to AP. And this is a Mayoko at 10 kilometers away. And this is the kind of penetrative power that the Udaloi has. You can easily pen the Mayoko cruisers, basically any cruisers. I said Mayoko, but any cruisers that give you broadside. You can easily pen them, you can even citadel them. I got a random hit that somehow did no damage to me but broke my engine. That's pretty much the life of a destroyer. Anyway, I'm gonna hide in the smoke. I'm slowly speeding up. I'm gonna send a couple of volleys of torps in case he's still hiding around in the smoke or the Mayoko is trying to hide in it. Basically just in case. With the Udaloi you got 8 kilometer torps, so why not use them? I was about to move out of the smoke, but this Atago got detected, so instead I'm reversing and I'm turning my ship around so I can bring my full broadside to bear. And once again I'm sticking to AP, rather than try to rely on the very low and unreliable fire chance. It's been nerfed by 3% from, well, I think the default was 10, it was nerfed to 7 or something like that. I can't remember what the values were, but it got nerfed. So I've been actually switching over to AP quite a bit more. And AP has proven to be very, very powerful on the Udaloi. And it might seem a bit strange to people who are so used to spamming, basically spamming HE on these DDs. So someone switching to AP might be a bit different. Oh, this Fubuki just fucked up. He showed himself, and I know that his smoke is on cooldown because he used it on the spot earlier. So I'm instantly going to capitalize on this, and I'm pushing him back. Oh, but here comes the problem. If you look at the minimap, Hatsuharu showed up as well. And as I mentioned in commentaries before, 2v1 versus DDs is very, very rough. It doesn't matter how weak they are. 2v1 is always a situation you should avoid. Even here, I might even be able to kill them both, maybe, but it's simply not worth the risk because I will eat so much damage, and 2v1 is something you just want to avoid. You will rarely end up winning because you'll get crossfired with torpedoes and shells and everything. It's just superbly rough to play. So I straight away disengaged. I wanted to hunt the Fubuki down because I thought he fucked up, but he had a backup instead. So he would have baited me basically to my death. Now I'm asking my team why they're all basically hiding. If you look at the minimap where my entire team is hiding, they're sitting next to a point that I capped, and they're basically not doing anything. These are the kind of things that kind of happen in matchmaking. People make some questionable decisions. What are they even doing there? Anyway, once again, Pensacola. I switched to AP. As I said earlier, AP is such a powerful tool on the ship. If you could actually land shells and not whiff like a potato like I'm doing here. I'm constantly adjusting my course because I'm a bit worried about someone taking pot shots at me. It's something you need to keep in mind on a DD. Even though it might feel nice to like sail in a straight line, it's worth sacrificing some DPS just to be able to increase your own survivability. And that's basically what I did there. Because, okay, here's a Fubuki. That if I would have been going in a straight line, it would have basically been jackpot for him. Because he could have landed a full broadside of shells on me, and I would have been completely screwed. I'm not really certain what he's doing. Oh, there's an Atago up there. I think he's hoping that the cruiser help will help him somehow take me out or something. But I'm constantly wiggling back and forth and making myself hard to hit. So I'm minimizing my own damage, whereas I'm constantly pumping out my damage on him. And in a straight up gunfight, Fubuki is not a good choice. I'm undershooting a bit. Keep expecting him to turn. Now he finally turned. I'm just giving chase to him. I basically want to force him to use his smoke if he has it on cooldown. He should have it up. Just waiting for him to use it. There we go, he finally smoked up. I want to force it on cooldown so that the next time we fight I can kill him. And once again, customary torps into his smoke. That's what I tell people. Always do it, if you just can. Smoke that motherfucker up so he can't or torpedo him, so if he tries to sit there and do the usual shooting from the smoke trick, then you will destroy him. Atago pushes into the cap. I instantly switch from HE to AP, and I just start laying into him. I hope this Bliskovic, I'm sorry if I mangled that, spots him for me. Because if he spots him for me, then I can just keep hammering him with AP. Oh, I'm overshooting. Keep expecting him to turn slightly to the left, to like basically straighten out a bit. Because I think he's going to torp, and that's why I'm expecting him to turn to the left. There we go, now I can get to the citadel, I think. Yeah, there we go. Only one citadel though. There we go, another citadel. This is something you should be very scary. If this would be a Ruin or a German cruiser, then I would not recommend being as brave as I'm here. Or basically sitting here, because German cruisers have much better hydroacoustic than the other cruisers. And if that was a German cruiser, he would have been able to see me through the smoke. So don't do what I did against German cruisers, it's too much of a risk. You can shoot them until they start approaching 5 kilometers. After 5, they'll start spotting you. Switch to some HE for the Colorado, I think it was. Oh nice, got a lucky fire. Don't mind. There's Baltimore. Shooting HE while he's angled. As with the Kiev and Tashkent, your goal is to constantly pump out damage. That's what you want to be doing. You see how much I'm basically just shooting and shooting and shooting. It's what you want to be doing as a Russian destroyer. You don't have the advantage of being able to wait for your torps and basically just sit around and wait for torps and then get a massive chunk of damage and efficiency in one go. You can't do that as a Russian destroyer. You have to constantly shoot. That's why they are considered quite a bit challenging than the other destroyers in my opinion, because you're very much tied to your own work effort. You do as much damage as basically the work you put in, whereas Japanese DD, he only has to land that one good torp volley and he's already been very useful in the game, whereas a Russian destroyer has to be useful all the time. You notice that as soon as I saw the bombers, I turned my ship sideways to avoid the bombs as much as possible. I'm gonna send some torps up at him. I took a big hit from, I think, the no, it was the Baltimore. That was a good volley from him. Once again, I smoke up, and I switch to AP. Because this Pensacola is giving me the broadside. Unfortunately, he's no longer detected. Oh, there he is. He's turning is he turning towards me? He's turning slightly. I need to aim lower. He's out of range, so I'm switching to the Baltimore. Even the Baltimore can be quite easily penned by the Udaloi, as you're seeing here. If you're new to watching my vids and don't understand why I'm able to sit in smokes and shoots, then I have a offensive smoke guide on my channel you can watch, because I'm not going to get into it now. Oh nice, a double Citadel on the Pensacola. He's turning away from me now, trying to turn away, but the DPM of the ship is quite nutty with the AP. Oh no, is he gonna go away? I really want to kill this guy. Seriously? I should switch to HE at this point, but I'm being stubborn with the AP. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go HE. There we go. Should have switched to HE earlier. I kept expecting him to maybe turn and give me a broadside, which would allow me to pierce him with AP, but he kept sailing straight away, which was quite intelligent, because I was being stubborn. So had to switch to HE to finish him off. As always, against angle target, use HE. I could technically use AP here. It does pen battleships as well, but because it's being such a juicy target that I can land hits on the superstructure with HE, I'm sticking with HE for now. Oh, his repair was not on cooldown, so he insta-repaired my fire. Gonna give him some chase here. This is another thing that makes this ship so frustrating, is you can basically, no one can outrun you. If you want to chase someone down, you're faster than everyone else, so you can just keep like chasing them like this and just landing shells on them. Oh, always nice to get a Confederate out of it. You see that I'm making small course adjustments constantly. That's because there's a North Carolina and another battleship next to him, and I only have 7k HP, so a good HE volley could technically one-shot me. So I'm making certain to, as I said earlier in the guide, never ever making myself an easy target, because you shouldn't. I mean, if you've gotten all the way to T9 with the Russian DD, then you should know by now that constantly wiggling, constantly turning, that's the way to go. Switch to AP since he's turning broadside. Nah, not as much damage as I wanted. This guy must be so mad though, like, you can imagine how frustrated he is. He's been shooting and shooting and shooting, and I'm just basically constantly chasing him. And he can't outrun me, he can't do anything. Oh no. No! Did he really just activate? His heel just came up. Wow. Well, this game is over. This is basically just me chasing down this stubborn turpis that doesn't want to die. But you can really notice the nerfed fire chance here when you try to when you spam HE on him, like how few fires I've actually gotten. You really, well, speak of the devil, now I finally get a fire. But his repair is probably up again, unless someone else got a fire and he had to repair it earlier. No, I think someone else might have gotten. But yeah, you can really tell that HE is much weaker nowadays. But the secret to the Udaloi is switching to AP frequently. Oh, got the kill. That's always nice. Considering how much fucking work I had to put in to get him. It was the first win of the day, so the base XP is pretty good. And the damage is like 130k? A bit more than 130k. Anyways, that was my Udaloi gameplay. As usual, I will be switching over to the modules now. Right, as usual, we'll start with the upgrade path. Now, the most important thing on this Soviet destroyer is obviously the range. In fact, if you're coming from the Tashkent, I recommend you save up free XP. Don't use it to get to the Udaloi faster, instead save it up to get this upgrade as fast as possible. Because playing the Udaloi without this range upgrade can be quite frustrating. So I highly recommend getting this as quickly as possible. Second of all, now what you actually want here the most is this weapon upgrade or this gun upgrade. It gives you additional DPM and turret turn time or turret traverse rate. But the problem is when you upgrade the hull, you actually lose 0.5 kilometers detection. So what I recommend doing is the same thing that I did. You save up both money and XP so that you can unlock both the hull and the upgrade at the same time, and then you buy them both at the same time. Because just buying the hull, basically you gain a bit of HP, sure, but you lose detection and you don't really gain that much extra. So get them both at the same time and you'll get the most painless experience. And finally we have the torpedo upgrade. It's a slight upgrade in damage and slight upgrade in speed, but considering you're gonna have to play this for 200,000 XP, I think it's worth the money. It wasn't too expensive either. Now, upgrade wise, same as on the earlier Soviet destroyers, gun survivability and gun accuracy. Very simple. When we get to the 3 million upgrade though, it changes a bit. Here I actually take the main battery modification. This reduces your turret traverse, or main battery traverse, same thing, but it increases your reload. But thanks to this upgrade and the captain perk, your turret traverse is actually 9.4 seconds, which is very, very good. Or actually it's less, but with this mod it's 9.4. So you can afford to use this upgrade without any issues, and you gain a lot of damage at very little cost. And the Khabarovsk has a very quick turret traverse rate as well, so you'll be able to use that upgrade on the Khabarovsk as well. So this is a very good upgrade both for T9 and T10. As usual, propulsion mod, I use it on every single DD I use it on every single DD actually. Steering gears, of course, maneuverability is your friend. You want to be able to avoid and turn as quickly as possible. And last, stealth. Once again, you're a destroyer, this should be very straightforward, very simple. Finally, we get to the captain perks. Here, of course, because you're a destroyer, situation awareness is the absolute most important thing. Now, unlike the Japanese DDs and maybe a bit like the US DDs, the basic firing training is actually a very, very powerful upgrade here, because it basically gives you a 10% reload buff. So it's quite important to get this as soon as possible as well. It's hard to basically beat 10% extra damage. That's almost what it translates into. Turret traverse, of course, you get a really good buff out of it, and your torpedoes aren't good enough to justify using this. On the gearing and the Shibakaze I would use torpedoes, but basically your torpedoes are simply not good enough to justify it at all, so I prefer the turret traverse. The third perk, very simple. You want the additional speed, but most of all you want the additional smoke from Superintendent. So this is a very straightforward perk choice. Here is where it differs a bit. On other destroyers I've always gone for Concealment Expert, but I have found that on the Udaloi I really like having both the extra range and last stand. In fact, I have completely skipped taking Concealment Expert. The last 2 points that I have, I might be putting them into Torpedo Armament, so when I have 18 points I'll also get the reduced torpedo reload, but that's like the least important upgrade for me. on this entire table. But yes, I actually don't go for the concealment because my logic is that everyone else, every other DD will detect you first, regardless of if you have this or not. I mean, it's very rarely that... honestly, I don't see it being as useful on the ship because the Udaloi isn't really that stealthy of a ship, and the Coversk isn't that stealthy of a ship either. They're brawlers, they're fighters, they're long-range gun specialists. So this 10% detection isn't as vitally important as on the Gearing or the Shimakaze or other similar destroyers. So personally, I think Last Stand, it's a must-have because you rely on your maneuverability so much, and Advanced Firing Drawing is a must-have because you need your increased range to actually hit your targets. Now, that was pretty much it for my Udaloi commentary. These are actually all the ships I have in my hangar, so as I mentioned at the start of the stream, or the start of the clip, I will start streaming, and I will most likely be, I will be leveling my T9 ships, which includes the Ruined Baltimore, Udaloi, Izumo. I probably won't play the Izumo too much because I'm not too hot on battleships. And then of course I play my T10 ships quite a bit. So if you're interested in any of the gameplay of those ships, then you can drop by. If not, well, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways, that was my short but sweet commentary of the Udaloi. Have a good day.